Hello, grade 8 students. This is day 2, STP Mathematics 3A lessons. Hope all of you have watched the day 1 lesson. By any chance, if you have missed it, please pause this video and go to the link and go through the day 1 video, because this is a continuous process. So then if you don't watch them from the beginning, sometimes you might not understand the things what we are discussing here, right? So if you can remember, in day 1 we discuss about the different types of numbers, and then we discuss about the fractions. And as we discussed at the end of the previous video, we thought of starting from the factors, prime numbers, multiples, highest common factor, lowest common multiple. So we are just revised that. You have done all these things in grade 6 and 7, but I told you the first 3 days in STP Mathematics 3A book will be a revision session. So we are just revising the basics, right? So then we will discuss that here, that first you want to put the date. Today it is 5th of August 2025, and we are writing about the prime numbers. If you can remember, what are prime numbers, children? The numbers which can be divided only by 1 and itself. In another way, we can say the numbers which are having only 2 factors. Don't worry about these 2 definitions if you can't understand it at once, but I'll explain how it works. So what are the examples of prime numbers, children? 2, 3, 5, 7, then 11, 13, 17, 19. So it's like this. So then I want to specifically mention 1 is not a prime number. You want to understand this is not a prime number. And there is another specialty in this prime number list. If you can see, that all the other numbers are odd numbers other than 2. So then 2 is the only even number we can see in the prime number list, right? Okay. So now I will tell you that what does this exactly mean. Now, if you take number 2, you just see, children, that you take number 2, you can divide 2 by 1, right? You can divide 2 by 1. You can divide 2 by 2. That's it. Okay. If you take 3, that you can divide 3 by 1 and itself, 3 by 3. Let's take 7. So then what happened? 7 can be divided by 1 and 7 can be divided by itself. So these are what? These are prime numbers, right? These are prime numbers. Now you just see that here I'll use the curly bracket here. So these are prime numbers. Okay. Right. So then you just take 4, right? You just take 4, and now you just see 4 you can divide by 1. 4 you can divide by itself. Is that all? No. 4 you can divide by 2. So what was the definition? The numbers which can be divided only by 1 and itself. Only by 1 and itself. So then if you take 4, you can divide 4 by 1 and itself. But it is not only that the 1 and 4, you can divide 4 by 2 also. I'll take 9 and show you how it works. You just see that the 9 you can divide by 1. 9 you can divide by 9. And 9 you can divide by 3 also. So then they are not prime numbers, right? So then quickly you can, that this is how you want to have the note. So see whether that they have you want to, that I told you in the previous video also, children, that whenever that I'll just explain everything at once, but what you want to do, you pause the video and you can copy down the note. Right. So then here that they are not prime numbers, right? So if they are not prime numbers, what we call, they are not, so then these kind of thing, they are not prime numbers. So we have a special name for them. They are not prime numbers. What they are composite numbers. They are composite numbers. Composite numbers. So that means more than. So then we have more devices. So then we do have many factors, right? Right. So then we'll move to the next subtopic. So then what are factors, right? We'll write the subtopic factors. So how do you write this? So here the topic factors. And if I ask you to write the factors of 12, look at these children. So you draw the tree branch like this, and you think that how you can have number 12. So how you can have number 12? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. These are 4 times 3 also possible, but no need to take 4 times 3 because already we have taken 3 times 4. 6 times 2 also possible, but no need to take it again because already we have taken 2 times 6. Either you are talking about 2 times 6 or 6 times 2, both of them are same, therefore we don't want to repeat them. So how we are going to write the answer? So then here, so then you write factors of 12. How do you write this? You just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. If I ask you to list down prime factors of 12, what will be now? Prime factors of 12? Prime factors of 12. So then now what happened? So earlier I wrote the factors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. The prime factors, only 2 prime factors we do have, 2 and 3. Hope it is clear. So how I got it straight away? Because already we have talked about the prime numbers. So numbers which can be divided only by 1 and itself. The examples are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, that it's going on. That is why I put the comma and use the 3 dots. We know 1 is not a prime number and 2 is the only even number we can see in the prime number list. So then these numbers where you have the more than 2 ways to divide, so we call them the composite numbers. They are not prime numbers. Then we talk about the factors. So then factors in the sense you want to find the way that when you have the product of 2 numbers and if you get the answer 12, so then those 2 numbers are the factors of 12. So then first we draw the tree branch like this and we think about the ways we can have number 12 and keep that in your mind. We are not repeating like 2 times 6, we are not taking 6 times 2. 3 times 4, we are not taking 4 times 3. We are not repeating that. We just write them as it is. And you want to list down. Always keep this in your mind, children. If you are listing down something, you want to open the curly bracket and you write them with the commas. And if I ask you to list down the prime factors of 12, out of the factors, you pick only the prime numbers, right? So then another popular question I'll give you. So they will give you, right? So these are very popular questions. You want to have an idea, right? 12 as a product of its factors. So then when you write it as a product, so let's say that I ask the students to write it like this. So different students, they will take it in a different way. So then some write 12 as a product of 1, that here 1 times 12. Another child might write, so then here he is writing 2 times 6. Another girl in the classroom, she has written 3 times 4. So all of them are correct because they have written 12 as a product of its factors, right? But specifically, if I mention to write that you want to write 12 as a product of its prime factor. factors. Now this time, now you can see this is the condition earlier that you can use any number, any prime number or a composite number. Only thing you want to show that when you multiply those two numbers, you get the answer 12. So that is the situation. But here in the second example, now I'm asking you to write 12 as a product of its, not the factors, the prime factors. That means you can take only the prime factors here. We know the prime factors of 12, they are 2 and 3. So then what we do, we take in the working column like this, 12, I divide by 2. And another common mistake the most of the students are doing, children, the 12 we can divide by 3 also. No? They start dividing by 3. I can't say it is wrong, but as a practice, what we do, we start dividing by the lowest possible prime number. Out of the factors 2 and 3, the prime factors 2 and 3, the lowest possible one is 2. No? So then first you want to divide it by 2. If you cannot divide this by 2, then you can move to the next prime number, that is the accepted practice. So don't start from the biggest possible number, but you want to start from the lowest possible number. So this becomes 6. Again, I can divide this by 2. Then this becomes 3. So then I can't divide this by 2. Therefore, I divide this by 3 and 1. Then this time I write 12 as what? 2 times 3. The students who are good at the indices, what they do, 2 to the power 2 and 3. Now you just see the earlier question I asked you to write 12 as a product of its factors. Now I am asking you to write 12 as a product of its prime factors. Therefore, in your answer, you can include only the prime numbers or else the prime factors of 12. So then this is how you want to write. When you get any number, it may be 12, 24, 48, 36, 50, anything, you want to divide them by the prime numbers starting from the lowest possible prime number. So then until you get 1, you divide like this. So for an example, I'll show you that let's say I have 49 here. With the 49, can I divide this by 2? No, 49 is not divisible. Can I divide 49 by 3? No, I can't divide. What is the next prime number? I tried with 2 and I tried with 3. Then I want to try the next one, that you want to go with the order, right? You tried with 2, then tried with 3, then you are going to try with 5. So we can't divide 49 by 5. Then the only option I have 7. So then I divide this by 7. Again, I have to divide this by 7. So then the 49, when I write it as a prime factor, the product of its prime factors, I just want to write 7 times 7. Right? So then we will discuss that these are very common things. We discuss about the prime numbers, factors. So then we will discuss about the highest common factor. We discuss about the highest common factor. Highest common, right? So it is HCF. Okay, highest common factor. How we are going to do this, children? That means you have two or more numbers and we are going to find the highest common factors. So for an example, I'll take the values 8 and 12, let's say, for an example, right? They have given two numbers. You want to find the highest common factor. So different teachers, the different textbook, they explain this in a different way. Here, I prefer to do this method. Don't worry about that. That if you are familiar with any other method, you can continue it. But this is familiar for me and this is the way I'm using. That doesn't mean that whatever the other methods you are using is not correct. This is familiar for me. So what I do, you just check whether this is easier for you when you compare it with the method you are following. So then here the 8, what I do, I write the factors of 8, 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Then I write the factors of 12. So then 1 times 12 and 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. Okay. Then what I do, I mark the common factors. If you can see that the 1 is common, 2 is common, right? So then 4 is common. So these are the common factors. Then what I do, I list down the common factors. So here I write common factors of 8 and 12. What are the common factors of 8 and 12? 1, 2. Out of these common factors, 4 is different. Why it is different? That is the highest common factor. Out of the common factors, that is the highest value. Therefore, I name this as highest common. Whatever the two numbers, sometimes they might have given you 3 numbers, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you just write the factors like this and you circle the common factors and you list down the common factors inside a curly bracket. And out of these, that whatever the last digit you are writing that is the highest value will be the highest common factor. I hope it is clear. Then I'm moving to the next one. So that is the multiples, right? So multiples. So sorry. Multiples. So then if I write that the multiples of 4, if I ask you to write multiples of 4, so then how can I write multiples of 4? That you know these things, how I'm going to write. So I'll write it as a list. So always when you are writing something as a list, you want to open the curly bracket, you write 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, like this, right? So then if I ask you to write multiples of 7, let's say, so then how do you write? So you write 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, so like this. Why I'm using that the last comma and the 3 dots, it's showing that they are going on, right? By any chance, keep this in your mind. Okay, I'll come to that part later and I'll explain you that some students that you are getting things wrong, that you are confused with the things, the way they have given the question. Here that I have just, this is an opened question, that what are the multiples of 4? If they ask that the multiples of 4, that I can list down it like this. There are no restrictions. So then I have written it like this. And finally, I put the comma and the 3 dots to show that we do have many more, right? And then we are talking about the lowest common multiple, right? Here that when we are talking about the lowest common multiples also, children, lowest common multiple. So then we call this LCM, right? The lowest common multiple, or the LCM. How we are going to take this? Let's say that two numbers, will take the 8 and 12, the same thing, 8 and 12. When you have 2 or 3 numbers like this, you go to the working column and you start dividing these by the prime numbers, starting from the lowest possible prime number. So I start from 2, 2 times 4, 2 times 6. Again, I can divide this by 2, 2 times 2 and 2 times 3. Again, I can divide this by 2, not both the numbers. At least one number you can divide by 2, you divide it. So then 2 times 1 and you write 3 as it is because it is not divisible. Then the next step I take 3 and then with 1 I don't have anything to do. I just write it as it is and here 1. So then how do you write that LCM? Right? LCM of 8 and 12, how do you write that? You get 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 3, 24. So then the 24 is the lowest common multiple of 8 and 12. Here, children, that we discuss about the prime numbers, then we discuss about the factors and the prime factors, then we discuss about the highest common factor and the multiples and the lowest common multiples. The next day, I will explain you how to add the fractions, how to subtract the fraction. Then I will tell you that when you have different numbers, for an example, you have mixed number and a proper fraction, or that something like that, how we are going to deal them. If time permits, we will discuss multiplication of fractions and the division of fraction. If not, we will take it to the fourth day. Okay, children, so this is day 2 content of STP Mathematics 3A. So continue this. You can pause the video, copy down these. And sometimes some students might think that I know these things. This is very boring. She's talking about very basic things. No, children. So my target is not that the students that who can remember everything. So then my target is all of you. So then if you can remember everything, you just watch this and it's a bonus for you to revise everything easily. But there are some students who have not understood all these things in grade 6 and 7. Therefore, it's my duty and it's my intention and the purpose of doing all these things to get clarified everything. All of you, that not that the set of students, everyone. Those who have understood these things in grade 6 and 7 and those who are familiar with them very well and don't think this as a boring session, you just recall everything when you are watching this. But whoever it is, either you can remember or you cannot remember, please take your notebook and copy down everything the way I have done. So you want to maintain your notebook in a neat and methodical way. You can see that how I'm writing the things, right? How I'm using the equation marks. So you just see that how neat it is and you want to practice the same thing and you want to improve that neatness day by day. Okay, children, we'll meet again next day. Till then, stay safe. So this is STP Mathematics 3A, day 2, and it is a continuous session. Every day, all the 5 working days, you will get 20 minutes lesson like this.